Now today we are going to learn more about programming, right? Uh, so we are going to talk about variables today. Okay, variables. So you know what a variable is. So for example, now just say that we want to find the area of a rectangle using a program, right? Now what you have to do is you have to get the length, get the width and then calculate your answer by multiplying length and width, and you have to get the area. Okay, so for each of these things, I mean width, length and area, you should get values, right? So in programming, we call them variables, right? So variables are used to store data or store values. Okay, now look at this example. I mean, look at this picture. Now, this is a container, right? So variable is like a container. You can store data in that variable. So if you think this variable as the width of the rectangle, so say this is the width of the rectangle. So what we are putting inside is values for the width. So one can put 5 centimeters. So value of width is 5 centimeters. So the variable width variable is equal to 5 centimeters. So we have given it a value. So we can change it time to time. Now here look at this picture. So you can change your data. So we can remove this and put something else. So someone else can say width is 10 centimeters. So we can have 10 centimeters as the variable next. Okay. So likewise, variable is used to store values. Now for our programs, we need these variables to store values, right? Now the example I told you was finding the area of a rectangle. So we need to find the area using the length and the width, right? So all these length, width, area, everything we need to put values in them, right? For length, we need to get a value. For width, we need to get a value. And finally, for the area, we need to get a value. So for that, we need to use these variables. So where we can store data, right? That is what we call a variable. So when we are doing programs, you will understand it better, right? So like in this picture, variable is used to store values, okay, or data, right? Now our example is the width, length, area, all these things can be taken as variables in our program, right? So we can store values for them, okay? We can change the values. In variables, the values are changing, okay? So if you take the width, you can put 5 centimeters as the width. Then next time when you are running the program, you can put 10 centimeters as the width. So if some other person is running, so he can input 20 centimeters as the width. So your variable is continually changing, right? So that is a variable. Okay, I hope you understood. Now let's look at this. Yes, how to assign values to the variable, right? Now, if you take a variable called name, right? What you can assign what you can assign this value, variable is names. Okay. Now your variable is name. Now you can assign values according to that variable. So my variable is name. So I'm going to assign a value called Amara. Okay. So according to your variable, you can assign values. So if your variable is name, you can assign Amara or else another name. Okay, Kaman. So whatever the name, you can give it. You can even change it. Okay. Now, if you take a variable as age, that means you have to input age. Now, this is age 12. I can change it also, right? Now, we will do some programs, then you will understand. So, remember, a variable is something like a container, okay? A box that we can store data or store values, right? Okay. Now let's look at an example how you can make variables, right? Now in your Scratch app, you can open it. So in your Scratch app, you can...
And now
Yes,
I can
yes.
open.
Yes, you can do with me. You can start doing with me. So how you can make variables using the Scratch app. Okay. So we will do an example. So you have some blocks there. I mean, these categories you have. So there you have one category called variables here. These orange color ones. So click on that variables. Okay. So these are your variable blocks. So what you are going to do is you want to make a new. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to make a new variables, right? So when you are writing a program, you are going to make a new variable, right? So here click this make a variable. Then you can write the name of the variable. Okay. So for example, I will write length.
Madam, I can't see, madam.
Others also, can't you see the screen? Can't you see the screen?
Can, madam. Can, madam. Can, madam.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so you can try leaving the meeting and joining again. Then you will be able to see. Okay. Right. So what you can do is you can name your variable like this. So if I name my variable like length, then I can select this for this sprite only.
Madam, my name is Vid.
Yes. Okay. Anything. Okay. Right. So I'm going to click OK. Right. So you have your variable here. Okay. Right. Now let's do an example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a program to now look at this flow chart, then you will understand. Now I'm going to create variables n1 and n2 and mul. Okay, mul means multiplication. N1 means number 1, number 2 and multiplication. So I will need 3 variables.
Green, madam.
Okay. Now you have this in your book. Okay. This flow chart is in your book. That is page number. It's page number
64.
yes.
64.
Yes, 64. Turn to page number 64. Yes, this one. Okay, right. So what you are going to do is in this program, you are going to make 3 variables. Number 1, number 2 and multiplication. So what we are going to do is we take 2 numbers and display the multiplication of those 2 numbers, right? So for that program, we need 3 variables. So we need number 1, number 2 and multiplication also we need a variable. Okay, we need to store value into that now. So again, we need a variable for multiplication. Right, sorry. Now let's see how you can make it. Okay, so now I'm going to make 3 variables. I will make n1, that is my number 1 variable for this sprite only. Okay, then again I'm going to make a variable n2, that is my number 2 variable. Okay. Then again, I'm going to make another variable,
In
MUL.
Scratch.
Okay, MUL. Listen carefully, then you can do it later, okay? Then mul is my multiplication variable. That is where I get the answer, okay? Right, then for this Sprite only, then you have to click OK, okay? Now I'm going to make my program. Now here, okay, right. Now we don't need this length variable, so we
Madam.
only need this n1, n2 and okay, multiplication variable. Yes, okay, right. Now we will start the program. Now when the flag is clicked, okay, what you are going to do first is you want to get number 1 from your, I mean the one who is running the program. Now we ask him to enter number 1, right? Enter number 1. So how are we going to get an input? We have to use these light blue color blocks. Here you have asked what's your name and weight. Then you can get this block and write ask enter number 1. Now we ask the audience, I mean the one who's running the program, to enter number 1. I will say enter number 1, right? Then he will enter a number. Say he entered number 5. Now what can we do? What we can do is sorry, we can assign that number to a variable, to my variable number 1. So I'm going to assign that number. If you entered number 5, so that number 5 should be equal to my number 1, n1 variable, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my n1 variable to what? What should I set my n1 variable? Now you get a number here. So that number should be equal to this n1 in order to do our calculation. Is that right? So what should I put here? If you enter number
Answer.
5, yes, very good. Have to put answer here. So the answer you get for this question is the n1 variable. So you are getting number 1 now here. So if you get number 1, that means it's your answer. So for example, if I get 5, that is my answer. So 5 is n1. So we need to assign n1 to our answer that we get here. Okay, very good. Then we are going to get number 2. Then I will ask enter number 2. Okay, enter number 2. Then again, I'm going to set my n2 variable. Okay, then I'm going to set my n2 variable here to what? Now you get number 2.
Answer.
Again,
Answer.
answer. Very good. So you get the answer for number 2. That is your n2 variable. Okay. Now what we are going to do is we are going to calculate it. So when we are calculating, we are going to take the multiplication of n1 and n2. Ne? So we are going to calculate. So what we have to do is we have to multiply n1 by
Excuse me, madam.
n2. Yes.
Madam, in my laptop, that's all like this. Madam, can you see?
What is it? For what? For scratch?
Yes, madam, that is tracking.
Okay, what you can do is you can get your browser, take your browser and type MIT
No,
dot.
madam, that is track.
Okay,
My
so
lap
yes,
is tracking.
you have to then, can you restart it? Just try to
Can't,
restart and
madam.
do.
Madam, the mouse is not moving.
Uh, so you can press
Madam,
Control, Alt and Delete keys together. Try pressing
what, madam?
Control, Alt and Delete keys together. Control, Alt and Delete. Okay, Control, Alt and Delete. And you can end task and try again. Okay, right. Now we have taken number 1 and number 2. Now what we have to do is calculate the answer. So what we are going to do is get the multiplication. So we need to multiply n1 by n2, right? And get the answer for multiplication, right? So what we are going to do next is set multiplication. That is set multiplication to what? So what we are going to do now?
Number one and number two.
N1, very good. N1 into N1 into N2. So we need to take an operator. This one, right? We are going to
Excuse me,
take the,
madam.
yes, we are going to take the operator, this one, okay? Multiplication operator. Yes, what's your question?
My one shows like this.
Let me see. Okay, I can't see what you, so your one is working now? You have clicked the backdrop. That's what. You have clicked the backdrop. So you can't assign variables for the backdrop now. Select the sprite from here.
Madam, I made a game from this scratch.
Okay. Now we are learning about these variables now. Right. Select the scratch, then you will be able to find. Right. Select the sprite. Okay. Now I will answer your questions later. First we will do this. Do this program, and then after that
Okay.
we will answer your questions. Okay. Otherwise. Okay, so now we have taken number 1 and number 2. Okay, then now we are going to do is we are going to multiply number 1 and number 2. So what are we going to put here in these two places? Now we have
In
to set,
one.
yes,
In
very good.
one and two.
N1 and N2. Okay, so you
In
have
one and two.
N1 and N2 here. Now you have taken the multiplication of these two numbers. Right. Now how are we going to display it? Now you can display it using this. Say, okay. Now we don't want to say hello. You can just put the variable mul here, or else you can, just put a text. So what we can do is we can join the text and the variable. So I will say the multiplication is, or we will say the answer is, that is my text. And here I will put the answer, that is my mul variable. Okay, mul is my answer.
MUL.
Okay, so I'm going to show mul as the answer. Okay, then I will just put a background for this also. Okay, right. So we will run this program. Now he says enter number 1. I will put 5. Okay. Then it says enter number 2. Then I will input 10. Now here you can see when I enter my number, it moves into the variable n1. Now the value is assigned. N1 is 5. Okay, now I have input 10 for number 2. Right, the answer is 50. Did you get it? Right, it's a simple, very simple program
Yes, madam.
using variables, yes,
Madam, it's like a
using
calculator.
variables to get the multiplication of two
Madam,
numbers. Yes,
madam join කියලා තියෙන දේට මොකද්ද madam type කරේ?
the answer is, you can type anything you want. The multiplication is, or the answer is, right? So now if you know this logic, if you know the theory, you can use this in any way you like. So instead of using the multiplication, we can get the addition. So what we can do is I will remove this and I will get the operator, plus operator. Then I can get n1 and n1 plus n2. So here I'm going to, yes, here I'm going to get the addition. So you can have anything like that. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I will get the addition of two numbers. Okay. So if I input two numbers, then if I want to get the addition, so I can change my program like this. So if I run this program, he will say enter
Madam,
number one, then I will put 25, and he will say enter number two, then again I will put 25. So your answer is 50. Okay. So that means he has
madam,
uh,
madam,
added
in
the two
scratch,
numbers.
in
Yes.
scratch, the scratch is not sounding like the number 5. Like
Yes, that for that you have to here you have to record sounds. The record sounds, and you have to you can play the sound.
yeah,
Okay. For that you don't have sounds here. What you can do is you can um, record sounds, and then now here if you get this, so you have to get your recording here. So you can do that also. Just try them out. You can do many things with this. Right. Now
mommy,
let's go to the next one. Please, can you switch off your mics? Right. Okay. Now we are going to the next activity. Okay. Now this one you have learned again and again, finding the rectangle and the perimeter. I'm sorry, finding the area and the perimeter of a rectangle. Okay, we did this using flowcharts. Now let's do it with the actual program, right? Let's see how we can find the area of a rectangle. First, we will find the area of a rectangle. Okay, I will get a new one. Right, so we can start a new file. So to find the area of a
Madam,
rectangle,
excuse me, madam.
yes,
मैडम मारा श्रीलंका माथा मेलोडी එක मैडम මං හැදුවා.
yes,
හදලා मैडम මං ෆයිල් කියන එකට ගිහිල්ලා ඒක සේව් කරා.
yes.
ඒත් मैडम මට ඒක බලන්න බෑනේ मैडम.
What
ඔව්
you
මට
can do
ඒක
is,
error එකක් කියනවා.
you
ඔව්
can
මට error එකක් එනවනේ.
you can't just click on that and open, right? What you can do is you have to first open Scratch and again and come here and click on file and click load from your computer, right? So you can't just click on a Scratch file and open it. You have to open it through Scratch. Okay, so when you open it through Scratch, and you can find your things here, and then you select
Okay,
it
thank
and
you
open.
madam. We can't save that in our computer.
Yes, you can save it. Okay, you can. What you can do is you have to just click on file and save to your computer. Then it will ask the place that you want to save, right, in desktop or
I saved it, madam.
yes, you can save. Okay, right. Okay, then let's go to the next program. Right, now tell me, to find the area of a rectangle, what are the variables that we need? What are the variables that we need to find the area of a rectangle?
Length, width.
Length,
Length
width,
and the width.
Just the length and the width.
Length width.
length and the
Length and
width.
width.
Okay. You need one more. Length and width. Okay.
Then,
Yes. But
Multiplication.
what is the other thing?
area.
Very good. Area.
Perimeter.
Area. Very good. Area is the other variable that we need. So, right, we have to assign the answer now to somewhere. So that is area. Okay. Now let's make three variables from here. I'm going to make my first one length and also the width for this right only. Can you switch off the mic, YM Bandara? Okay, thank you. Right, so I have made my first variable length. Then I'm going to make my second variable width. Okay, for the sprite only. And I'm going to make my third variable area. Okay, area. Okay, for the sprite only. Right. Now, first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this flag clicked. Right. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the width, or you can get the length. So what you can do is you can ask for the width. Now we will ask enter width. Enter width. Or you can write any question, right? Please enter width, or what is the width? You can have any question you like. So I'm using enter width, right? Then I'm going to assign my variable. So I'm going to set my width variable to the what? What I'm going to here, I'm going to set my width variable to the, what should I put here?
Answer.
Very good, answer.
Answer.
Yes, the answer I get to this question, that is my width variable, right? Then I'm going to get the second question. What is the length? Or you can ask enter length. Okay, so you can have any question. So I'm going to put enter length. I'm going to assign my length variable to this answer. So I'm going to put set, yes, set length to answer. Now I have taken length and
Madam.
width, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate the area, right? Now I'm going to get my area, set area to, what should I do to calculate the area?
Perimeter.
Area. What should I do? What is the calculation that I should do?
Multiplication.
Multiplication,
Length into
yes.
width.
Length into it. So you can get this multiplication operator and put length and width here in these two spots, right? So I have get the area. I have got the area now. I need to display it. Okay. Yes. Say, we will join with the text. Say area is, you can say area is. So here you have to put the area variable. Area is area. Okay. Now let's, I will put a background also. Okay. Okay, right. So I'm going to run this program. Okay. Enter width. I will put 9. Okay. Then he's asking enter length. Then I will put 5. Okay. Area is 45. Yes, you should get the answer. Now let's make another program to show the perimeter addition also. Yes. Now next program is to find the perimeter of the rectangle. So you can use this program. You can change this one. So what we are going to get is another variable perimeter. I'm going to get another variable perimeter. Okay. Perimeter. Right. For this sprite. Then I'm going to set the perimeter here with, for area, I will set perimeter. Okay. This is not the correct calculation. How are we going to get the perimeter? What should we do? We need to have what?
Length into 2
Ah,
multiplication.
can you remember how to?
Length into length and width into width.
Yes, we need to add everything together. Length plus width. That's how you got the perimeter. So you have to add. So if your rectangle is like this, so length plus width plus length plus width. So when you add them all together, you get the perimeter. Now we have to use some more. I mean, this plus operator we need. So you can put here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 4, no? So I'm going to put another one here. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to add length plus width plus length plus width. Okay, so that is my answer for perimeter. So I'm going to here write perimeter is, so I'm going to put my variable perimeter here. Okay, did you get it? So what I did was the same program, I set perimeter to length plus width plus length plus width. And I am going to display my perimeter using my perimeter variable. Now let's run this program and see. Okay, so I will put 6 as my width and 5 as my length. Okay, so what is the perimeter? 22. Is it correct? 5 plus 5 is 10 and 6 plus 6 is 12. 10 plus 12 is 22. That is correct. Answer is correct. Did you
Yes.
get it? So it's very easy. So for whatever the problem you get, you can make a program now, right? If you want to calculate, I mean, if you want to add two numbers or if you want to calculate the perimeter of a rectangle or area of a square, whatever, you can do with this now using variables. It's very easy. Now when you understand about variables, okay? Right. Now let's look at another program. Now here they have uh, done this perimeter and area together. You can do it together also, or else you can do it separately as we did. The same thing, right? Same thing. You can do it together or separately. Okay, right. Now let's get another example. Now we are going to do another one, changing the size of the sprite. Okay, now we are going to change the size of the sprite. So from a value from uh, 1 to 10. Okay, so we are going to take a variable called x, right? Now when this x is changing, right, from 1 to 10, when the x is changing, the size of the sprite is going to change. So for example, if you put 1, it will be in the smaller size. And if you put 5, it will get bigger. And if you put 10, it will be, I mean, it will be bigger than the first one. Okay. So when you are, I mean, when you are giving the number value into x, what you are going to do is you can change the size of the sprite. That's what we are going to do with this program. Okay. So we have to make a variable called x, right? And when we are assigning values to this x, when it is 1 to 10,
Excuse me, madam.
yes, yes,
Madam මේ 59 page එකේ තියෙන madam අර පියානෝ එකක් play කරන්න madam.
yes, we did that one, no?
Madam
Last, yes.
ඒකේ madam මේ පියානෝ එකක් එනවද madam ඇත්තම පියානෝ එකක් වගේ?
No, no, no. Here you can, I mean, you can get the, didn't you do that program?
No madam, it doesn't come to that.
Okay. So for that, now you don't have blocks here, right? For the music, for in order to make music, you don't have blocks here. So what you have to do is you have to click this extension, add the extension part and get the blocks. So what we did, sorry, what we did was click on this extension and you have this music blocks here.
Madam, where is in that button is there?
Yes, so here underneath these, I mean these categories, you have this blue color add extension button. You have to click on that. Okay, click on that.
Okay.
Then you have music here. Then you have to click on that. Then you will get these music sorry, blocks. Then you can do the program like in your book. Okay.
Thank you, madam.
Right. Right. Sorry. Right. Next we will do, right. Next we will do this program. How to change the size of the size of the sprite. Okay. Using a single variable x. Okay. Right. Yes. Okay. Now let's get a new program. Right. I'm going to take a new program. Right. So I'm going to take the flag, right? Okay. So first I'm going to set the size to 100%. Okay. So you can get this one from here, these purple color blocks. Okay. Set the size to 100%. Then I'm going to make my variable x. Okay. I'm going to make a variable x. Okay, for the sprite only. Then I'm going to set my x variable. Okay, so what I'm going to do is my x variable should be any number from 1 to 10. Okay, so my x variable can be any number from 1 to 10. Okay, so I will put pick, pick random 1 to 10. That means x variable can be any number from 1 to 10. Okay. So it can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 4, it can be 9. So any number from 1 to 10. Okay. My x variable. Now I have assigned my x variable. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the size of the x. Okay, by I'm multiplying it by 10. Okay, so if you get x, if you give the value, if you get the value 2 for x, then what we can do is you can multiply it by 10. That means you get the size 20. Okay, so your sprite will be 20. Again, size will be changed by 20. Okay, then I'm going to set the color effect also. So first we will write change size. So here in this purple color blocks you have change size by. Okay. So change size by what? You are going to multiply this x with 10. Right. So you have to get x variable and multiply it by 10. Okay. Right. So if you get 2 here, your answer will be 20. So this sprite will be bigger in the size of 20. Okay, we will just check this out, then you will understand. And I'm going to change the color effect also. Change the color effect. So you will change the color effect by, sorry, it will be again by x, right? This value x. Okay, so I will get the value x here. Same value. So if you get this as 2, so your size is 20 and color effect also 20. Okay, right? Then we will play a drum beat also. When you are changing the size, we can play a sound also. So we will play drum beat. Okay, so for that one, we will get these music blocks. Play drum beat for 0.25 beats. Okay, right. So let's look at this then. Right. Now look at the x. Now here x is 0. Now when we play this, when we run this program, x will change. You will get random values from 1 to 10, right? Let's see. You have 5. Now this is the size 5. That means 50. Because you multiplied it by 10, no? Now let's see, look at another one. Size 20. Again, size 50. 60, 60, 40. Now look at how your variable is changing and how your sprite is changing according to the size. Okay.
Madam, my project is also working, madam.
Yes, likewise. Okay. Right? So if you get the variable 9, it will be the biggest one. Let's see if you, yes, this is 9. Okay. You can check the size of the sprite like that. Okay. So this is a simple variable. We used x. So when the x is changing, the size of your sprite is changing. Right? Okay, good. Now I hope you understood that program. Right. Now let's look at the bugs. Now this thing will happen to you, right? You will have bugs in your program, right? What are bugs, right? Bugs may occur when you are developing a program. You can have bugs. So what are these bugs? Okay, errors in a programs are called bugs, right? Now when you have errors in your program, it is called a bug. Okay, right. So we have to eliminate such bugs in order to run the program properly. Otherwise, your program will not run correctly, right? So you can have unexpected problems. Okay, so we can check for bugs, right? Before running our program. Right now, after running your program, you will understand that I have a bug in my program. There's an error. Okay, then you can fix your error. Now look at this program, two programs to draw a rectangle. Now here this is the program with bugs and this is the program without bugs. That means all the blocks are here. Okay, all the blocks are here clearly. So, but if you if you miss a block or if you change the pattern of the block, if the order is changed, right? If an instruction is omitted, then what will happen is your program will be incorrect, right? So this is the incorrect output if you run the program like this, okay? But what you want is a rectangle. So here in this program, you have a bug, right? Now, when you are making a program, right now here what you did was now for this if we now for this program when you have um, uh, something if you forgot to put a block or whatever wrong thing if you have done here, so your program won't run properly as you want, right? That is why we call there is a bug, right? So what you can do is you can correct it by adding the correct blocks and emitting the unwanted blocks. So you can correct your programs. Just remember the word bugs here. So bugs are when you are having if you want to do your program properly, but you are having problems with your program. You are having the incorrect output. That means you are having bugs in your program. That means you have to check it again and write it properly. Okay. You just try this out and try the wrong one and see what you get for your output. And if you get the correct one, now we'll do one example. I will do one example. Now say that we are going to draw a rectangle, right? So what I want is I need the 10 blocks for rectangle, right? So first I will get, when the flag is clicked, I'm going to erase all. Then I'm going to put my pen down, right? Then I'm going to move 200 steps, right? Move 200 steps to the front, and then I'm going to turn, right? Let's do it. Draw rectangle, 200 steps, okay? move 200 steps. Then I'm going to
මැඩම්
turn,
මොකද වෙනවනම් පෙන් රවුන්ඩ් එක පල්ලෙහාන් තියෙන්නේ?
erase all and pen down. Okay,
මැඩම්
first
ඊට පස්සේ
move 200 steps. So what I'm going to do,
Erase all
what I'm
pen
going to do is draw a line here. Okay, move 200 steps. Then I have to, in order to draw a rectangle, how many degrees I should turn up
90
9
degrees.
90 degrees. Very good, 90 degrees. Then again I'm going to move 200 steps. Okay, I'm going to move 200 steps. Again I'm going to turn 90 degrees. Again I'm going to move 200 steps. Again I'm going to turn 90 degrees. Again I'm going to move 200 steps. Right? Again I'm going to move 90 degrees. See whether you have 4 200s. Okay? Right, 1 2 3 4. Right, now I'm going to draw my rectangle here. Oh, is it a rectangle?
It's a
No.
square.
Yeah, now you have a bug in your program. Now you have a bug in your program. This is a square. I need a rectangle. So what you should do? What can you do?
We should reduce the value of steps.
Yes, yes. I will reduce this to 100 and this one to 100. Okay. Now let's see. So you need the length and width, different numbers. Okay, now you got it correctly. Now say if you do like this,
Madam, what is we do the 100?
so you have to have 200 for 2 lines and 100 for other 2 lines.
Okay.
So now let's see if we do like this 200 steps, then we also again we move 200 steps. Then we have 100 steps. Then we have 100 steps. Now you have 200, two 200s and 200s. So we have lengths and widths. Okay. Now if you run the program like this, what will happen? Let's look at our answer. Now here, this is again a bug. Now you have a bug in your program. This is not the proper way to draw a rectangle. How you should draw a rectangle is first you have to move 200 steps. Okay. Then you have to move 100 steps. Okay, not 200 to get the width. Then you have to again get the length 200 steps. Then the width 100 steps. Right? Then you will have your program correctly. Here likewise, okay? Right. So otherwise, you won't get it, okay, correctly.